All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to your Thursday morning. Excited to be here this AM and a few things for us to talk about here prior to basically planning out our trading day. So became or I guess it was published yesterday, right? That the Fed has bought back something like 4.4 billion dollars worth of debt there yesterday, and effectively, right? Or I mean, they announced that they did yesterday. They didn't do it all yesterday, but effectively, it, it kind of explains a little bit of like that choppy environment, right, that we've gotten there recently, because when they're effectively buying it back, they're pulling liquidity out of markets, right? And once price discovery becomes a little bit more inefficient, and there's less buyers and sellers, or there's less liquidity generally just in the market, then the choppier price action gets, right? And that certainly makes a little bit of sense. So if we were seeing, the Fed even pulling out like not maybe like a steady drip from a faucet type thing, right? Still does impact markets quite a bit. And so I think pretty interesting revelation that was sort of going on in the background. I think now that people are aware of that, that could potentially be a little bit of a differentiator on market dynamics. But it's a little bit of an interesting move from a perspective of if the Fed just cut interest rates, right? Like they've been begged to do by Donald Trump, that purchase back of their debt would have been much cheaper, right, for lack of a better term. So it's a little bit of an interesting political game here that seems to be going on. And again, that always creates a little bit of uncertainty. Now, you probably heard it in my voice. Not a macro expert by any means. This was very much just like an armchair analysis of what that means. And historically, just when you see Fed either adding to markets or pulling from markets, that tends to be a indicator, right, of kind of like market dynamics. Basically, the number one rule of trading US markets is don't fight the Fed. And now that they've kind of like signaled their playbook, it makes it a little bit easier, hopefully, to avoid fighting them. From an economic calendar perspective here today, maybe this is kind of like the last smooth session prior to tomorrow's Jackson Hole symposium. So we're going to have a lot of Powell speak there tomorrow. Generally on Fridays with Powell or Jackson Hole in general, slow, very, very slow. We might take tomorrow off here. We'll look at price action in a bit. But besides that, here we got PMI today, and then we got data at 10 a.m. I do think that the market's probably going to slow down a little bit here today. Even just like the base look I had at it from a daily perspective, we're setting up as an inside bar day, right? Where we've got 200, call it 250 points higher, 200 points lower, right? Before it's a breakout in either direction. So want to be probably a little bit cautious here today. And maybe yesterday looks a little bit like a capitulation. Tomorrow, Powell will establish, again, hypothetically, establish a directional bias for the market to fall back in love with. And then, we kind of get into depressingly autumn type trading conditions, and things kind of kick back up to normal. So yeah, with that being said, right, let's start mapping things out here a little bit. Good morning, everybody. And let's have ourselves a day. So it is still technically a 3 for 3 here to the downside. A little bit of a reversal there, right, in the afternoon. But we caught the easiest move of the day there for sure. The thing I think to take from yesterday's price action is watching how the initial like breakouts happened, right? So yesterday, if I'm thinking back to its PA, the first breakouts that happened on the 3-min, the 5-min, they all went right away, right? There was no like they weren't messing around, right? Effectively, they went smoothly, they went cleanly, they didn't particularly hesitate, and that's what gave us that easy move. So almost like judging the early session, especially before PMI data, we're going to have 15 minutes. That's going to give us potentially a chance to say, okay, is this easy price action or is this difficult price action? And then we can almost like adjust expectations right at that point. So a lot of what we have here today is implied consolidation, I would say, right? And we're looking for either new information to confirm that story, or we're looking to invalidate that and continue the bearish narrative. I'm not sure if today's necessarily going to be the busiest of days, but let's be a little bit patient and see. To the downside here, we're at 63.90. So target would be 63.80. That doesn't need to change here too much. And then from there, we're looking 63.60. And then we can go down like 63.40. The other, I don't know if you want to, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I struggle to believe that the market wants to give me quote unquote 3 trend days in a row. I would be very, very surprised by that, especially there to the downside. Doesn't happen too often. It tends to be 1, 2 slow, right? 1, 2 reverse. Those are pretty big ranges last couple days. I don't know. We'll see. I think a little bit challenging to be bullish unless we get a fake out under like yesterday's low and then reverse back up. That would maybe be the only scenario. But I'm going to go NA until fake out under low of day. And again, I'm not expecting that. I'm thinking that this is going to set up here today as an inside bar. All right. NQ feel very much the same, right? We're opening up in the implied middle of yesterday's candle. We're expecting price action to either break out higher, break out lower, right? We got that 200 points we already talked about basically in either direction. So we do think it is setting up as an inside bar. The setting up as an inside bar, what that means, I guess, primarily, right, is that from a initial breakout perspective, we wouldn't be targeting outside of yesterday's range, right? So if we get a breakout or we get an opening range that opens up and we get really good follow through, we wouldn't expect it to be outside of yesterday's low or yesterday's high. If it is, that would be the initial target. From there, right, if we get a secondary breakout, we'd be targeting previous low of day, previous high of day more aggressively, and then continuation through those zones. So still to the downside here, right, we'd be looking at a 2300. That's going to be the starting point. Not much needs to change there, unfortunately. And then we're targeting kind of the lower end of that consolidation range. So, the theme that we've been talking about a lot is like equal move higher, equal move lower. We've continually been kind of consolidating inside these bars. The equal move lower would be like 578-ish, right? On that fake out higher, a bit more, 190 points. Okay, so about right. So that would be a pretty interesting bit of PA here today. I probably wouldn't exceed too far under that 22,600. If it does get there, that's a monster move for us. And then to the upside, again, it's just bullish NA until fake out under yesterday's. Oh, I can't type. Low of day. And the reason why I want to see that fake out under the low of day is to basically just invalidate the bearish trending PA, right? We've got trending price action here lower based on what our count is, and just generally based on what we've seen, say, since this time last week. So I don't want to like try to catch the falling knife or anything along those lines. I want to go trend continuation until that trend fails. I still don't have enough information to indicate that it has. So a failure, a reversal, right? A big bounce off of those psychological levels, that would start to at least create a narrative there for me. But I'm not going to fall in love with that until I get a high conviction move. All right, crude. I don't even know why I bother sometimes. 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. It's non-outlier volume, but I would say I primarily have a bullish bias here. Pretty big move overnight. You'd be targeting 63.50 and then going from there. To the downside here, right, we're looking for, I mean, eventually that's 61.50, but would need bigger vol than yesterday. And the reason why I'm willing to have a little bit of a bearish bias here, this could be setting up as like a little bit of a bear flag. This is testing the trend line, right? So a retest or rejection here would make a ton of sense. And then the final element there is we kind of expect yesterday's volume, right, to not really be a huge like stopping point here, right? It would be reasonable for us to get larger volume than that. And so if we can pair that with a rejection, right, pair that with a trend line pop, pair that with the failed breakout, and all of a sudden you've got an indication of trend continuation, right, or continuation of this general theme. So kind of looking at some bigger picture ideas here to a certain extent on CL, but let's see if we can get some of that flexibility to play out. Okay, Apple, 2 out of 3 there to the downside with volume. Now the volume, again, not outlier. It's increasing by a smidge, but it's still increasing. All right, Tesla, 3 for 3, looks a lot like NQ. Microsoft, 3 for 3 there to the downside. Amazon, 3 for 3 to the downside. Nvidia, interesting, 2 out of 3 with volume. Earnings next week on this thing are going to be nuts. AMD, 2 out of 3 without volume. Okay. Meta, 1 for 3. Oh man, this keyboard's still driving me insane. Okay. And then Netflix inside bar. Oh, we nailed that. Okay, Google. Technically a gap up, so 2 out of 3 with volume. How's everyone feeling this morning? Everyone feeling good? Fantastic. And just a couple pointers, I guess, right, to start the day here. So yesterday, right, the trade we took happened very, very quickly. Got in decent amount of time waiting for an entry, but the move, right, broke down very fast. I want everyone here today to be very selfish in taking profit, right? If we're getting, and we're going to have a highly volatile breakout market, we're going to get a big opening range, kind of like we're getting here now. things can change very quickly, right? So, if you're happy with a move, you feel like the trade has kind of gone the way that you want, take it and run, right? Hit and run tactics here are very much in play. So take your wins, right? If the trade is strong, it'll give you more than one chance to enter, and we can always jump back in at another price, but you'll never feel bad about taking a profit. So please, team, right? Everyone, make sure that you're being very selfish and locking in your wins here today. That's got to be our obsession, right? So price can move very, very quickly. We saw that in an incredible fashion there yesterday. If we get more of the same type of trending, quote unquote, breakout price action, then I would expect moves to happen quickly again. Yeah, makes sense. All right, perfect. So not as big of a range as yesterday, but that's fine. So far, so okay. You know what, guys? I got 30 seconds. I'm going to get my coffee. Give me a minute. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So far, kind of a little bit of nonsense, right? Let's say. I would say NQ bounced off of 200, right? All things considered. And then ES seems pretty convinced to want to reclaim 4. Let's see. There's no rush yet, I would say. So I would describe that initial breakout attempt, right, as choppy, right, or as indecisive, or as consolidation potentially, right? If we're looking, or we're going to stack up these two candles here together, kind of merge them into one, it's effectively a little bit of a doji, right, or a little bit of that indecision. Now, if we can get that early fake out higher and then break down lower, for sure would be a very, very positive kind of scenario. But we've got 10 minutes until red folder data, and I would say this has not been a super promising start. And so again, kind of a quick personality change there. right? It went from looking like a rejection to kind of working or looking like indecision. CL makes me laugh sometimes. There we go. The ORB finally load. Let's see if the volume shows up. Good lord. Trading view, you cannot be this slow. So again, probably not expecting this to necessarily be the smoothest of breakouts, right? Especially not going into that 945 data. I wouldn't trade this going into it. More looking to judge, right, if this initial failure, right, tells me anything, if that sets the tone, or if it kind of doesn't care, right? I think for like a tradable opportunity, I would prefer to see it basically be a rejection going into that data. That would be the easiest trade for me here today if it were to happen. If it doesn't, then I might have to be relatively patient here. The other kind of pattern that's played out a bit is a good chunk of the move here happened overnight, right? So we've seen a little bit of a certain structure when we see a big overnight move or we see relatively enthusiastic price action overnight, that the takes a little bit of time basically for price action to like mature and settle into its rhythm, where we maybe get a trade 10:30, 11. Whereas when we get a smaller move overnight, you almost have like price action roaring to go, and we tend to get the more aggressive pop, which was kind of more what we saw there yesterday. So seems a little bit still like a bit of a mature, slower mover, more indecisive, more. I think we have to be more patient here potentially, and really make sure we're not over trading in this. Like I would say for now, kind of I was gonna say it feels like a sloppy Joe. Like it's kind of gross. But if we make money, it actually might be kind of delicious. I don't know why that came to head my mind. I can't remember the last time I had one of those. Not a good enough candle shape there on CL. Better, I guess, on NQ-ish, but still, like I got no reasonable signal to trade here. And I would say so far, I think of them as like school lunches, John. And so, like a school lunch sloppy Joe from the cafeteria, I don't think that that's like a good rendition of it. That's probably beef that's been like frozen for 6 years and it's finally de-thawed. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's a little bit probably better for us. Still not perfect. Did CL respect? Wow. I'm surprised CL didn't fake out there, actually. ES not moving. So we gotta be patient here, team. We gotta be very, very patient. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, bud. I'm not doing myself any favors too. I generally only eat one meal a day, and tends to be at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's gonna be a long day. Yeah, I would say a choppy mess so far. We got 3 minutes till data. Let's see if that creates a little bit of an environment for us. But I would say very much setting up as an inside bar here for sure. I need to find an event contract or something like that where you can just blanket bet on inside bars, like just binary events. Yes, no. I think I would make a killing doing that. I mean, you can kind of do it by selling premium, but I'd want it a little bit better than that. Selling premium is not the risk structure on that kind of sucks. Yeah, maybe the liquidity there would probably be terrible. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I bet I could make a lot of money doing that. Like if like I reckon my hit rate, I'd probably need to track this, but my hit rate on calling inside bars is probably like 65-70%. You can get a good 1-to-1 payout on a yes no coin flip odds. That would be very, very nice. Okay, CL starting to get interesting. It loves an early move and then reversal. So I'll just wait here 5 seconds to go effectively till this market data drops. Let's see if we get a good algo reaction here. Come on. Not really. Kind of lacked enthusiasm. The volume in the run up to PMI at 945. That's got to be the lowest we've seen at that time in a very, very long time on NQ. Like that's half of what we normally see. That's a very interesting liquidity pull right before an announcement. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we got a few minutes to go here on this. We need it to close under the opening range, and ideally we want it bigger than the bullish volume here at this point, right? I want no nonsense breakdowns. And sorry, ideally we want it holding under 200 as well, right? So a minute to go here. Let's see how it behaves. And now we're just watching this price action. Right? I got 50 seconds, and we're basically trying to gather as many clues, as many context clues, as many like subconscious elements that we could view about this trade, right? Or as this setup comes together. Ooh, see, not a good reaction. Big volume, but a terrible close. What the? Okay, CL. I mean, thank God. $250 on NQ. Wow. So CL would be setting up like this. I don't trust that as a reference price. That's 65. It feels too tight. I also don't like how it feels like it's in molasses all of a sudden. Kind of felt like a rubber band snapping back. Probably not what you want. Okay, I'm going to wait off on CL here too. Don't like that initial. Feels like it rejected, right? I don't know if it's a coincidence, right? Like that's too perfect of a rejection at 68. Probably can't trade this on the 5 because it's not going to be a strong enough candle shape. So again, so far just a choppy mess. I think we set expectations pretty well here so far, though, right? We kind of expected it to be this to a certain extent. Thank you. Go green. Wow. This is interesting. Didn't fake out under yesterday's lows. I don't know if I can be super aggressive about that as a reversal. That is that's a very impressive candle to if you're a bull. Now, it's not impressive chasing it here at 250, but that's a mega recovery from say 176 all the way up to 268, right? 90 points in 5 minutes. That's a very, very impressive move. So again, right? It's kind of an oxymoron, but it's aggressive move consolidation, right? We've gotten straight line down, straight line up, right in 5 minutes. That's quite the aggressive heartbeat, but for sure, I think our read of it being choppy, and then our read of if a trade comes together, it's going to move very quickly. I think we're seeing both of those elements sync up, not in the way that I probably expected. I would say so far this AM, I would maybe expected that to have occurred on a more trendy type move, but a very fascinating open. Yeah, we've not moved. It's been a lot of messing around, I guess, from price action, but it's not moved. This has created max frustration for a lot of people. And here I am still thinking about what I'm gonna have for dinner today. Oh no. It's gonna be a long day. And again, right, that bullish momentum doesn't sustain. We're almost red, green, red, green, red, green. Right, next one. I know that's a stupid pattern to trade, but I mean, there's something to it sometimes. Yeah, dude, the 3 men looks even worse than the five. This is the only candle that isn't a fake out here so far today. I guess this one too. Not a great hit rate on consistent narratives. All right, so far so choppy. What a yeah, nothing 30 minutes. Hey, well done, Rico. Quick little scalp. Yeah, I think it's very justifiable for us to be very picky here this morning, right? At least for now, not very many high conviction signals. Just looks like a choppy mess. If we are going to get a breakout, right? We now want to get a breakout under low of day as well. So if we're going to be trading a crack lower, right? It's not a breakdown through the opening range. It's a breakdown through the low of day. And Tim, like I want you to uh maybe appreciate Rico's scalping. I think is hopefully a little bit more systematic. right? We still want to make sure that we have a repeatable processing in getting to our trades or getting to our setups or getting to our scenarios. Without that consistency, right, then yeah, that you open up that opportunity, right, to basically get killed. And for sure, it happens to everyone. I mean, you guys saw it happen to me on Monday. But the more repeatable, the more consistent the approach, the more sustainable progress is, I would say, right? Is like a general statement. So no problems with identifying scalping opportunities, but have facts behind those decisions, right? When we start to go from trading our backtest results or our stress tested system to trading an impulse, we may as well be betting on red or black, right? Or red or green effectively. Our edge evaporates pretty quickly. And when things are choppy and things are bouncy like this, that becomes a very expensive way to drain your mental capital. All right, slow burn here so far. NQ more likely than ES, but not by a ton. At least not yet. Okay, so there's our potential breakdown here. We need to see volume, right? Defend this narrative. Jesus Christ. Can you not laugh? Just insane behavior from price action. I don't know if it's volatile. I think it's just kind of bullshit chop. Like the range here today is 150 points, maybe on NQ. 134 points. It's not a ton. Sounds good, Logan. Enjoy your travel day. Be safe, bud. This is kind of mental. And I would be shocked here if this next candle breaks out above 300. I'd be very surprised. And instant fake outs. Let's see. Maybe CL. I mean, that's trying to give us at least something, but it's a fake out higher there too. Well, pretty happy so far to be in my second most profitable position. That's a nice place to be. It does look a little bit like that structure we talked about. I'm just gonna bring up my old Twitter. So it does look a little bit on ES. You've kind of gotten that little double fake out potentially. Update that, but it looks pretty interesting. And feels very low conviction everywhere so far. I had this dream of it's probably would have been 5-10 years ago, and I think about it every now and then. And it was had the ability to like pause time, and I used it to trade. And I was always 30 minutes behind. Like I knew what price action was going to do 30 minutes before it ever happened. Right now, I'm like very much wishing I had that superpower. Be feet up at the beach. Life would be good. I wouldn't be just going 10 contracts, Jay. The volume in the S&P 500 would triple. Okay, is this our double fake out here higher on NQ? You kind of want to see opening range, right? Fake out, fake out. So there's opening range, fake out, fake out. Now we're looking, right? Second one here. No, so far, no trades. No trades here yet this morning. Honestly, nothing has really even come close. Price action has been a flat line, effectively. So no chances for us here yet today. We're kind of expecting this to be a market that takes a little bit longer to create an environment for us here today. So we're opening up into that maybe more tradable window here of the morning. I still think we're probably 10, 15 minutes away from that kind of like truly opening up here. But, maybe here pretty soon things start to digest a little bit, then we get a bit of smooth PA. And not a great candle shape. Can't chase that higher. So for now, still just chilling out here, team. Not nothing of interest here yet. Kind of a weird volume profile day here so far too, right? Very limited consistency in the volume bars. It's kind of like explosion, then nothing, explosion, then nothing. Like I would expect this to be, yeah, it's like pathetic volume again, right? It's kind of that third candle post big volume tends to be pathetic. This is it. Like it's a very weird intraday volume pattern, not one we see very often. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But it's like a cycle that's not moving anywhere, right? So it's almost, almost feels a little bit as if someone's liquidating or someone's loading up. But I don't really know which way yet. Happy to be. I mean, I'm probably losing money just with inflation, but besides that, nothing too egregious here yet. Sitting on cash. I expect this to fail eventually. Let's see. I mean, ES is above 400. That's something at least. I do kind of expect this to be a fake out though. Just spidey sense. Not something I would be willing to risk any money on. It does look like that fake out again, right? Not enough volume to trade it. Not a right candle close to trade it. So again, kind of demanding patience from me here so far. Oh, not enough. There's ES finally going. Great amount of volume. It's better on the 3 for sure. ES definitely better than NQ. I don't know if it's enough yet for me to call this a reversal scenario here. Sorry. Targeting 11 points. That's pretty reasonable. I don't know if this breaks the volume pattern or any of the kind of bullshit we've seen so far today. I'm not sure if it does, super honestly. Kind of feels like it's just another like false dawn. A little bit. I don't know, what's your guys' read? Like, I think I have trust issues on this. Yeah, I think so too, Don. I think it's not convincing enough. Nothing I've seen here yet today indicates an easy move, right? I want an easy move. This isn't it. I don't want to grind my teeth. Life's too short to be stressed out working. Yeah, I'm chilling for now here, team. I don't see any super aggressive reasons to want to do anything. Yeah, it doesn't mean it can't go. It absolutely could. But I'm just not going to chase it. Like, I would say my general sensation here, I guess, for lack of a better term, I don't trust these narratives yet. CL maybe is the most in squeeze mode here, but I don't have, I mean, now I have an active setup trigger. So breakout through 63 to target 63.50 could be in play. Albeit maybe a big concern. This is just a straight line up. And so if that's the case, right, I'm not going to chase it again. Definitely squeeze mode. All right, let's keep an eye on CL next. Buck a little bit. I do a bit, but I'm a little bit lazy with my cooking too. Why do you ask? Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Oh, I've heard great things about pellet grills. Yeah. I would say that specifically with meats, I'm like a little bit of a sous vide guy. So that's like the way that I exert my control. I guess if you want to call it that, right? You know exactly the temperature you're getting. It's gonna be perfectly cooked all the way through, and then reverse sear it, dry it up, and reverse sear. That seems to be my move usually. Yeah, that's the sweet spot. Absolutely, Patrick. I will say in the summer, you got to throw it on the grill because I mean, it just feel like it tastes better once it smells like you got some carcinogens in there. But that's the sweet spot. Okay, so let's keep an eye here on the old crude. Be targeting 63.50, so approximately the trend line. Be looking at pullback technique for now. It's within 10 cents. That's not terrible. Reference price here would be 63, right? So I want to see basically how it reacts to the round number. Oh, I've been asking myself that my entire life. All right, so watching CL here. And I'm being like, although this is set up here, I'm not like putting any extra pressure on myself or like a huge rush to make a decision here. I'm waiting to see how this thing pulls back into my entry zone, judging that reaction, right? And then going from there. 62.94 would be the stop loss. And we're inside, right? Here, and so I'd be looking at like, maybe 8 contracts, 7 contracts. Again, let's watch this reaction here. Pretty much every bit of PA that we've seen here so far around psychological levels has not been super enthusiastic. And this is kind of like bro science, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green candles in a row. You're kind of expecting a red one to show up here eventually. Let's see if we can buy ourselves enough time on this one to see if we can avoid it. So like it's setting up and it's theoretically good, but based on the context of what we've seen here so far today, right? It's like too perfect. Where everything that we've seen here is a hot mess, and all of a sudden, like this thing is showing up and it's, got its hair combed and like shoes polished. It feels suspicious, right? It's like it looks like a fake cop, right? Or an undercover cop in high school or something. So for sure would have stopped us out there initially. Let's see if this ends up being a fake out. Yeah, there should be no issues with allowing you to buy CL. Every now and then, especially if you're with my funded futures, I've seen this a few times, Joel, where they'll have like some glitch where they'll restrict a symbol for a short term, and you just got to chase up their customer support and they'll get that unlocked for you. So you might be dealing with that there. The other alternative is you might be trading the September contract instead of the October contract, or looking at the September versus October. We rolled to the October contract on Monday. And so maybe you just haven't reflected that inside your trading. So it would have to be CLV instead of CLU. Yeah, I've seen that happen a few times with the CL. So I would just chase them up. I mean, all things considered, I don't think we're going to get a trade here anyway. Our skepticism paid off. It's the right term. And still, guys, we're just hanging out in an inside bar. So I get it, right? It looks like a big move here to the upside. Oh my gosh, we've missed all this PA. We haven't. Contextually, it's still a bearish market. We haven't invalidated anything here. We've seen weird kind of volume behaviors, right? Weird little volume patterns. Everything besides this little rally, right, is telling us that we've had a day of consolidation. And this rally independently, not that crazy, right? We're 30 points above the morning high of day. We've not missed out on anything. The only way we would have made money here so far today is actually picking the bottom and absolutely selling the top. None of which is a fair expectation to place on ourselves to think that I would have traded that well or you would have traded that well, right? Not a realistic expectation. So I don't feel like we've missed out on anything here. Don't feel like I would have had any easy money. No FOMO, right? There's no regret. Everything we've said that's going to happen here so far has occurred. It's been a day of consolidation. It's been a day of weird volume. It's been a day of choppy price action. And doesn't look like anything different. So don't trick yourself into placing trades that aren't there or to over trade in this environment. It's just not going to be worth it. I can guarantee that. So we got to wait. We got to be very patient. We got to be very deliberate here so far. And if a trade wants to set up, it wants to set up. If it doesn't, not the end of the world, right? I'm okay sitting on hands. Market doesn't owe me anything besides the chance to sit and watch. If we get a good clean setup, we get a good volume narrative, we get a nice breakout for sure, we could be back in business. But nothing here about this tells us that there's like any outlier interest. So grinding price action here to the upside is effectively random inside consolidation. And until we break out outside of these ranges, who cares, right? Please don't overcomplicate things for now. And not enough volume on that 5 min. It's increasing, but it's not outlier. Same thing there on ES, right? It's increasing, but it's not outlier. We're getting just enough hints that things aren't perfect. And it's okay if price action wants to move while following 2 out of my 3 rules, right? I don't need to chase it. I can sit on hands. So that's really the only move here for me so far today. But it's all about protecting that mental capital, all about being responsible and about being proactive, not reactive, right? The more I can manage my psychology before entering a trade, the better I'll be able to manage it once I'm in. And the more I can control my expectations over how a trading day is going and remain objective instead of money hungry, the more money I save and more money I make long term. So I really need to focus on ignoring like the short-term voice in my head who's like telling me to rush and to try to do things quickly, and that if I don't do it by tomorrow, I'm a piece of shit. Like I need to ignore that voice in my head. They or he or it doesn't have my best interests in mind. And so I'm not going to reward, right, that devil on my shoulder type thing. I would much rather be very deliberate, be very patient, and just avoid the complicated trade, because that's where I get in trouble. That's where I lose mental capital. That's where I get stressed out. That's where I put myself in situations where I hate myself in my trading, right, effectively, because I get onto a P&L roller coaster, right, where self-worth or validation is only created by a number on a screen. And if I'm judging myself based on that, I'm setting myself up for failure in every other element of my life. So really need to focus, right, on managing that psychology. Really need to focus on not putting myself in situations where I make dumb decisions. And yeah, so far so good, right? We're avoiding obvious mistakes. We're putting ourselves in good situations, and maybe we're getting a chance, right, for that reversal opportunity. So patience is hopefully paying off here. Let's see if we can get everything to kind of sync up. we're too close to 300 to not want to see a breakdown under. Right? So a break and hold here under 300. Okay, it did it. Increasing outlier volume, right? Rejection at a one handle move. That's pretty positive. Target here would be towards low of day. So 23,156. And again, I'm trying to buy myself time to make this decision. For now, on the pullback entry technique, it would just make sense to set your stop loss to be high of day. There's effectively no difference, right? You're looking at 4 or 5 points difference between high of day and your confirmation high. Preferably, I would like the aggressive entry technique on this, right? Keep my risk really, really tight. Keep my risk very, very limited and not have to worry about a fake out above highs. If that's the case, right, reference price would be here and stop loss would be there. So you'd be looking at like a 309 stop loss, 295 entry. So 15 points of risk, give or take. Okay. So we're going to set it up here now, guys, right? 308, I'll call it 309, just keep it simple. We're looking at just one contract here. We need to see a pullback now into 95. If we don't get an entry here on this 3-min time frame, we're getting a very similar setup here on the 5. So we'll have an opportunity. Now that little bounce back there, probably a little bit too fast for my liking. That felt like it wanted to get your heart pumping, which I don't want as an entry logic. So let's see how this thing settles in here. Kind of the other thing to really focus on in this moment, right? Generally, when I feel as if it's a time for an entry, especially in choppy markets, I can always get a better price than that. So generally, like my first moment where I feel like I should be getting an entry generally is still too early. Okay, so again, 5 minutes setting up here still. Yeah, that was a pretty fast jump from like 293 to 298. It doesn't feel as if it's behaving the way that I would expect, right? If bears are strong, they'd be the ones doing the leaps in big numbers. So I wouldn't say necessarily invalidates my idea here quite yet, but it's telling me I need to slow down on my entry, or that there's very limited reasons to rush my entry. Potentially my entry timing here is maybe not correct yet. It still feels like it's a fight, right, at these lows. Can't say I necessarily see a clear winner here yet, even after that bearish engulfing candle. Okay, kind of glad that I avoided CL. Not moved at all. Suspicious. Very suspicious volume there on ES. So now we'd be looking at a 303 stop loss. about 304. And I think it would just be a one contract play here, right? It would just be a one contractor. Oh, might have just missed it at that 288. It's just going to go just a little bit higher still. It's a bit disappointing. All right, maybe we can play this on the 3 here with the aggressive entry. You're looking kind of like 271 stop loss. Let's see if it finds some support here. Okay, we're looking at a 276 stop loss and then a pullback into like 264-ish. Ooh, got within 2 points there. Okay, watch this. Just be patient just a little bit. All right, guys. So I am in short 267, 2 contracts, stop loss 276. 267 entry, 267. Not a huge fan of that initial reaction. Too bouncy. Yeah, they're starting to go. Two, 6, 7 on the dot. Stop at 276. 2 cons. Ooh, don't like that. Come on. Here we go, team. Here we go. Let's even keep flushing. Let's even keep flushing. So far, so good, though. So far, so good. A little bit bouncier maybe than I would have expected, but that's a 3 for 3 candle. If you missed your entry, right, this is setting back up potentially as well. I can't say I'm super enthusiastic about this pullback, though. Does make me a little bit nervous. Okay, it's got to die here, guys, or I got to get out. I think it's more got to get out. Last chance. Come on, flush. Come on. Don't like it. I really don't like it. Ooh, close. Oh, there we go. Just got stopped out. I should have found the exit just a little bit earlier. So minus 340 on that. Not find. Yeah, I gave it just a little bit too much time. It's annoyingly going to set up as a fake out. That's lame. Reference price maybe on this 10 min would be something like this. I still like this thesis a little bit, but I would like to find a smoother entry. I'm a little bit annoyed I didn't take profit when I had the chance. Something like egregious. I mean, I gave it as much time as I could have, maybe a little bit too much time. This is now starting to be lame. I think the annoying, I didn't listen to my own advice, right? I said it felt like a exit versus a breakdown. I still kind of gave myself a bit of hopium. No worries. All right. 291 would be the stop loss here. Okay, let's see this thing pull back. Hey guys, I am in average price 277.75. The setup here is a 10-min reversal. Same setup we played on the 3-min, except it's on the 10-min time frame. So I'm in at 277.75, guys. Stop loss 291. I might be out of this in a second. Yeah, there's my price retested. Okay, there it goes. Ooh. There it doesn't go. What the heck? 277.75. Ten-min time frame. I'd say annoyingly bouncy so far. Annoyingly bouncy. There it goes. All right, keep cracking, baby. Keep cracking. Flush. Now get under the 50s. Come on. Really, really strong here. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Don't pull back much. I want to see you break down. Always wants to move in the most difficult way. Kind of a tricky spot because I can't let this trade go red at this point, but it's not giving me enough follow through to like have to make a decision to get out. I feel a little bit in no man's land a bit with this at the moment, just with the amount of separation it's given, which I strongly dislike. And it feels like, again, like a worst case scenario type pullback, like the worst time for it to do it. Not necessarily worst price, but worst time. Just to create the most uncertainty as possible. Okay, come on, keep pushing down here. It needs to get under 60. It really doesn't want to. Come on, crack, crack, crack. All right, so now have to look for an exit, right? Now have to look for an exit. Don't like this pullback into my entry price. So looking, right, to get out as P&L is increasing here. Come on, and Q. I believe in you. Die, die, die. Come on, come on, come on. Motherfucker. Took the stop. I'm being a dumbass. Why didn't I close it at that 76? I got greedy. Dumbass. Just been getting chopped up in that low volume. Oy vey. And this is setting up right back up as the fake out. Still super stubborn with this thesis, more than I would like. I got one more crack at this. Be a 302 stop loss. What I want to see here basically is a fake out higher and then pull back under. So I want to see a fake out above that 301 and then a basically dump after. Right? So I want to basically be buying on the fake out to get that insurance, if that makes sense. So I should either be right away or wrong right away if this sets up. Okay, watch for the fake out here now. Not yet. Okay, guys, I am in short. Average price 298, 298. Stop loss here right on this new high. So like 303. Okay, so far so good here. So far so good. Let's get a bit more oomph. And I have 4 contracts on this, guys. I have 4 contracts. $100 of risk on each one. Okay, I've closed this. I have closed this for now. I'm going to try to reset. I didn't like that. Closed it at 294. Quick 400 bucks. We'll try that again. Didn't like that reaction though. So it's getting out quick. Not going to repeat mistakes here. That's not my style. Well, usually not. Try this again here potentially. Same thing, right? We want to see that fake out above and then break down aggressively. Was the right decision, 100% the right decision. Feel good about that. Okay, so now we're looking to see if that 305 wants to respect. Like it does. Now we're looking for a gentle pullback here. Okay, watch for the fake outs. Hey guys, I am in short 302.50, 302.50, stop loss 305, 4 contracts. Okay, took the stop, minus 200. Try this again, keeping the risk very, very tight. 310 now would be the stop. Okay, touch 310, probably not behaving the way we want anymore, right? We're not probably getting that 300 rejection at this point. Better. The other alternative would be to do that. You'd be looking at a 325 or better on the pullback. I just have so much distrust in this volume. All right, watching again. So stop loss here would be 315. Okay, so I'm in short 306.25, 306.25, stop loss 315, 3 contracts here. Let's see if this thing can crack under 300. Otherwise, if not, I'm just going to take my quick scalp and run. Okay, I'm out. I am out. Exit price 302.25. We'll try this again. Premature exit. Fuck. All right, we'll try this again here on that fake out thesis. $255 on that. So sitting on minus 600 here on the day. Very much within one trade. Would have been on this one had I not prematurely did. Classic. Fuck me. Hopefully a few of you guys held on to that just a little bit longer than I did. Oh, I closed that literally 2 seconds too early. Nice work, Mike. Let's go. Should be a nice win for you here now. Good job. Just a little bit unlucky here. Okay, again, we're still in play here, and we're just looking to continue to play off of this thesis, right? So this is our confirmation candle. We're constantly just looking to play weak bullish pullbacks, right? Those as failures, and then using that as our entry logic. So here we're looking at a, what, 284 stop loss now. 23,284. Call it 285, just to keep it simple. And again, we're looking for a gentle pullback here. Gentle. Come on. Ah, lame. Didn't give me enough of a pullback. So again, we'll just try this on the 3 here now, right? That candle just closed, giving us another opportunity here for a setup. 271 would be the stop loss with a reference price here of 260. Assuming, right, we can get a lower low here. Potentially, this could be setting up as the fake out logic here again. Let's see. Pullback would take us to 307. That's probably too aggressive. If I go 278 as a stop, I think I'm in reasonable play here. Okay, guys, I am in. Average price 269.75, 269.75. I've got 3 contracts with a stop loss at 278. Okay, I'm out. I am out, guys. I am out. Closed at 264. Don't like that reacting to try again here. I think I can get a better entry. Didn't like that reaction post entry. Just didn't sit well with me in my heart of heart. Let's try this again here, potentially. Same thing, 278. And we're just slowly stacking them up, right? Slowly stacking them up. Let's go, Mike. Congratulations. Okay, so again, watching here, watching. Now this is just a very aggressive mindset here. This might set up again for us on the aggressive here. Give it a min for 15 seconds. Again, I feel good closing where I did. Didn't feel like it was behaving the right way for the fake out entry. That feels good. Feels justified. And again, just taking those quick, small little wins right now, right? 200 bucks here, 200 bucks there. Adds up very fast. No worries, Leia. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get the stop to be 271. That would be awesome. Or 272. Okay, so watching here. Probably moving just a little bit too fast, I would say. Hey, Charles, we'll take your win and close it, right? If you made a mistake, don't hope that you now get like the Hopium bailout. Take your win and run. Take it and run. Yeah, Mike, go enjoy the rest of your day, man. That's fantastic. Go have yourself a nice long weekend. I don't think you're going to miss out on anything tomorrow with Jackson Hole. All right, guys, I am in short again, 262.50, stop loss 272. Oh, this thing pretty much broke down right away. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm out. I am out. Honestly, guys, by the time I saw if I was filled everywhere, it already broke down. So I've closed out of solidarity here. Sitting on, I mean, kind of a dumb close. That was stupid. All right. How's everyone's P&L? Everyone okay? Nice work, Sean. Nice work, Kiki. Good job. Let's go, guys. Good. Yeah, I mean, I think we're starting to get the volatility here now, but if you're feeling like you should close it, you should close it, right? Like if you have that inkling of I'm kind of done for the day, be done for the day. Hey, green is green, guys, right? Green is really green. 230 bucks or 300 bucks. You've been working for an hour and a half. Like, that's awesome. Right? So, yeah, no complaints. Okay, good to see your guys' P&L is all pretty similar to mine here, right? Pretty similar. That's good. Okay, so we're looking at a 245, 246 stop loss here. Oh, sorry, things are moving real fast at the moment, so apologies if I haven't answered your question. 246 stop, right? Reference price 237. Might have just missed it. Fuck you. Yeah. 300 bucks doing micros, Tim. That's freaking fantastic, man. Let's go. All right, so we're watching here, pull back into 237. It's already been a decent move, so give this thing some time as it pulls back into our entry zones. And just as a side note here, right? This is where I feel like my waiting for coffee focus kicks in. So I know people have been asking about that a little bit here, but it's finding that flow state and that energy right around now seems to be where I feel my sharpest or feel my best. I know that's kind of that was a bit off topic, but figured I would share that. Been talking about it a little bit this week. All right, come on. I mean, I could be super aggressive here and trade this on the Rusty too. Not opposed to it. So 227 stop loss, 217 reference price. 227 reference price 217. Come on. You got to give it to me here now. That's ruthless. Okay, 3-man will shut up here in a sec. Same with the 15. Same with the 5 and the 3. So we're okay here. Okay, so again, pretty much no difference on a stop loss here. We'll call it 217 still. Just keep the math simple. Okay. Too fast, way too fast, way too fast. Be patient, way too fast. That went from like 205 to 217 in a hip scotch and whatever. So now maybe we're back looking at the 227 on this 2-min. Better. Okay, guys, I'm in short. 218, stop loss 227. Ooh, I might be out of this. Oh, maybe not. Sloppy entry on that, I think. At 218, felt rushed. All right, took the stop. This fake out entry's been working okay. I wouldn't say so because we've not respected 200 really all day, right? So if it was the first time that it bounced off of 200, I would agree. But 200's not been a point of interest really all day long. Like generally I care about round numbers the first time it touches them. I would say, right, is kind of the the goal. Like the early reaction to it is what you care about. And all I'm doing, guys, is I think I have a trend in the market, right? And I'm just looking for entries that give me a trend continuation narrative. That's really all it is. Okay, so I'm back in short here, 235, 235.50. Stop loss 246, two contracts. I'm honestly probably just going to scalp this here. Maybe not, getting some good follow through. Okay, much better reaction, much better. Might have jinxed it. All right, I've closed. Try this potentially again. Just once it makes a lower low and then it does so enthusiastically, and then it bounces back to my entry. Pretty much every time that happens, I end up getting stopped out. So I'll just take the small win, move on. Sitting at 335.67 on the day. A lot of work for nothing. So, John, I can't really give you any feedback on that. I would need you to send me a screenshot of your chart, and there's so much information that's missing. So, my recommendation would be either book a call with Eric or send me a screenshot. But right now, I can't help you solve that tech issue. It's not the appropriate time. Okay, so again, we're still possibly looking at this. 247 would be the stop. Hey guys, I'm back in. Average price 241.25 actually, 241.25. Stop loss 247. Come on, I got 3 contracts on this. Come on, there we go. There we go. There we go. So far, so good here, team. Ooh, don't like that bounce back. All right, I'm out. I am out. Close price 240.50. Ugh. Well, that was bullshit. Yeah, 100%, Patrick. I mean, that's very similar to my PNL here on the day. I'm now sitting at 573. So very, very similar. I think you're literally looking at like 1 or 2 points difference on one trade. That's pretty good. Do feel a little bit maybe too stubborn with this fake out entry at this point. Got to be a little bit careful with that. It's got to be very quick and scalping it. Okay, so again, we're at 249 here as a stop. Let's see if it makes a fake out higher and then breaks down. It's pretty much the same trigger we're looking for all day. Better. How's everyone feeling? Everyone feeling still sharp? Everyone still feeling good? Okay, there's your possible fake out high. Yeah, everyone feeling good? Okay, no touching this. Everyone green? Good, Sean. Good. Good man, Eric. What's the damage, Todd? Where did it go wrong? I am green today, Brady. Yes. Uh, 573. So are there trades, Todd, that I closed that you got stomped out on? Or you maybe didn't close? Okay, that makes sense. That's literally a one trade difference there, right? That'll make the $1,000 difference. And so we'd be looking at something like this here now, and we'd just be targeting range bound towards high a day. If this is the fake out spot, I'd laugh. It's 8:25, so I don't want to stick around for too much longer. Otherwise, I will degrade my edge. So Todd, right? I want you to be more selfish in closing your winning trades. Talked about that here at the very start of today's session, right? Where if we were going to trade today and we were going to get some action, the expectation that things were going to move very, very quickly, right? And we need to be selfish in closing our wins. I need you to be doing that, right? When we're getting trades that are bouncing around like this, waiting for me to say that I am out and then setting up your order to execute, you're 30, 40, 50 seconds behind my exit. And that is a world of a difference. You want to build up that confidence as a trader, you got to get comfortable making decisions for yourself, studying why you did them, and then learning how to improve them. We need to be very selfish, guys, in taking our wins here today. No excuses, right, in swinging for home runs when everything's just been proven to us that we need to take our base hits. So I don't say things in the morning generally with that intensity as a suggestion. That wasn't like, listen, it's I'm telling myself I'm going to be taking profit off very quickly. My average hold time here today is the shortest of the week, but it's what allowed me to remain profitable. So we got to listen to that feedback and implement it ourselves here too. So I'm not quite sure how else to make it clear that that is what we have to be doing, right? So got to be really selfish there, team. I need everyone to be very aggressive in protecting their winning trades. Because I'll be honest, there should be very limited excuses to be red here today. We should be all reasonably green. I'm a little bit tempted to call it here, truth be told. The thesis that I was running here to the downside of potentially it being a trend breakdown right after that double fake out type scenario kind of felt like we had potentially the structure in play, right? Fake out one, fake out two, then breakdown. Easy move didn't particularly give me a ton of follow through here. So at this point, right, I'm probably being sold a narrative where it's just consolidation here for the remainder of the session. So at this point, guys, I'm going to take the trade and run up $500 on the day here. just effectively scalping away, taking 5 points, 10 points, 7 points. So not maybe the world's easiest trading day, but we took advantage of the market conditions that were there in front of us. I won't complain about that. Did make a few mistakes here today. I for sure should have been up probably double what I am here now. A couple prematurely exits, a couple trades that I let go green to red. That's a bit frustrating. So it should have been easily $1,500 here today, maybe more. So the fact that I'm only walking away with 500 is a little bit disappointing, but I will take it. Again, just getting back to stacking up base hits. That is the value for me. I'll take it all day long. And a busy day. We're very close to getting that last account passed. Three for three to the downside. All right, I'm trying to really like this keyboard. All right. All right. Any questions here, team? Any questions here? Yeah. Final call for questions here, team. Final call for questions. Uh, Debating it, Patrick. So that's actually a good thing worth checking. Give me a sec here. Basically, just based on what you would call it, what the last Jackson holes have been like. So I just need to get the dates up. This is where ChatGPT is fantastic. All right, so let's go back through some dates here. 2024, it would have been, says August 23rd was the Friday. So inside bar day, the 2023 would have been on the 25th. Oh, whoops. Okay, so I'll fake out lower after a 3-for-3 counter trend. 2022 would have been the 26th. Pretty big sell-off day. Interesting. And then 2021 was a virtual. And there was no like official start date. It was just kind of a bullshit COVID pandemic thing. We'll see how the day closes. Probably is the best reflection of it. I would say in general, been a relatively choppy kind of nonsense potential week. I don't know. Might be worth just enjoying on one of the last Fridays of the summer. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'll see. Maybe do a bit of research and come up with something, but yeah, I mean, my base here a little bit was to take the time off. Been a reasonable week here, all things considered. Some positive, some extremely negative. So like, you know, you're kind of doing like effectively zero progress here, right? I'm up now $141.75 on the week. So I don't know if I'm necessarily navigating this Jackson Hole run up fantastically anyway. I don't know if there's a ton of value in forcing trades there. Any other questions here, team? Yes, no, maybe. Ask now or forever hold your peace. All right, team. So have yourselves a great rest of the afternoon. Good old trading day there here today. Nice and busy. And busy in a very intense window. So happy to be green, happy walking away. Probably should have been a lot greener here today. At the very least, if I didn't let those two trades go green to red, I'm sitting at, you know, $1,500 right there and then. But I'll take it. Any day where I'm green is a good day. Any day where I feel like I didn't break any rules is a good day. And any day where I feel like I can learn something from how I traded is a good day. All things considered, feel like I saw the market pretty reasonably well. Gave us an inside bar, gave us chances to take really quick profits. That was our base expectation going into today's trading day. We lived it, we traded it, and we profited off of that. So from my perspective, that's pretty positive. So for now, I think it's time for time to kill the stream here for the day. I see no further edge in trading this honestly this bullshit at this point. So I'm gonna go enjoy my morning, and looking forward to catching up with a few of you here in our one-on-ones later today. So have yourselves a great day, team, and we shall talk soon. Peace.